Hello, everybody. I'm Mark,
I'm Rob.
and welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown. Guess what? We're the hottest sports talk show in the universe and the best. At least that's our goal, anyways. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do hit that notification bell when you do, so you're notified of our future videos, I should say, I guess. And guess what? If we want to make intelligent, non-insulting comments, go down below and make them. And if you got any ideas for videos, let me know. And we got a live show tonight.
Yeah.
Monday, every Monday except for major holidays such as Labor Day, Christmas, and Rob's 39th birthday.
What time is that again?
7 to 8 Eastern time, in case you're not Eastern time, 7 to 8. Okay, everyone? Right. So please join it. You can call in. I'll give you the number. I'll have it down at the bottom of the screen, or I guess at the top of the screen if I do it in the beginning. And also you can just make comments and see what kind of topics you want to talk about. So anyways, Rob, we had a game last night.
Yes, we did.
Yesterday afternoon, I guess. And I thought it was a really good game. And of course, as you probably know by now, the Fever won against the Sky. They beat them 2 times in a row. And there was a little drama. The score was 91-83.
What drama? I can't believe that.
And just so you know, a couple of people said they wanted Rob to talk more. And just one explanation. Usually I introduce the topic. So that's talking there. And also I read sometimes some quotes from people, and that's also talking. So it probably appears that I'm talking more than I am. But I will try to make sure Rob gets his say in on this video, since we both watched the game and he knows a lot about basketball. So I'll work on that. But anyways, I just let you know that, I often choose the topic. So sometimes I have more to say too. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this topic I didn't choose.
I didn't have to choose.
Caitlin Clark game we got to follow because there's so many Caitlin Clark fanatics out there. And tell me your thoughts on the game, Rob.
Well, Mark, I was like you. I thought it was a great game. I mean, on both sides, it was a well-played game. That's what I was looking for. I mean, it was well refereed, well played, and the Fever, they played hard at home in front of a packed crowd, had a crowd behind them. It was almost like and then they had, of course, the drama with Reese, good versus evil, with Carter and Reese. So what a hyper game. But it turned out, except for one play, it was a great game, for Clark. She came up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Actually, 2 plays. But, Clark played a great game. The offense looks a lot smoother and cleaner. Boston's she sets the pick not that well, but she's getting used to rolling to the basket. And that helped because Clark made some nice bounce passes to her for some nice easy scores. And then Boston kicked it back out to Clark and hit the threes. That's the way you do it. 2-man game. That was really nice. It looked really, really nice.
Okay, you let me talk? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. and then I was.
Rob's trying to let me talk. No, just kidding. I wanted you to say as much as you could. Then I got several things to say about the game. Number one, I don't want to be like Tony Kornheiser where he goes, I think I got that. But I think I got that. I said there's no way that offense they played last time was sustainable. First of all, Caitlin Clark wasn't involved in it barely at all. And second of all, I knew it wouldn't work against better defensive teams or even bigger defensive teams. And now that Cardoza is starting now, and they got Angel Reese, they got other people there, I knew it wasn't going to work because Cardoza is 6'7". Right. And Boston had trouble against her. Even though she scored sometimes, she still had trouble against her.
Oh, it's a big girl.
And I also knew the fans weren't going to take it. And I also knew the owner wasn't going to take it because the owner wants fans in the seats. So I said that was not going. They weren't going to continue to play that way, and I was right. I was saying also I don't think it's going to work anyways. But now against that team, they didn't really try it too much going in, to Boston and stuff like that. But Clark was given the ball from the get-go, and that's the right thing to do. And this should have happened 15 games ago, which is why I decided this lousy coach. We talked about that in the last video, and Clark felt more comfortable. She didn't force things. That's why she shot well. And she almost had a triple-double. Let's not forget that. All those people who think she's a one-trick pony, she almost had a triple-double. Okay. So that's what I noticed about the game. And I think their defense was better than not necessarily better than every game they played, but it was better than almost all the games they played. And it was good enthusiasm. And a lot of their teammates got criticized for not sticking up for Clark. And you saw what happened with the hook that took place, which I think is play number 2 that we should talk about, and that was Evans. And Evans hooked Clark's arm for about, I don't know, like a mile and a half. And I don't know what she was trying to prove by doing that, but she hooked her arm and a foul was called. I have no idea why she hooked it so long. It's very, very bizarre. And then Carter was on her best behavior, as you saw. She actually caught Clark and put her arms out. And she stepped in front at first, which was fine. That she was there first. So she didn't cut her off the last second. So she did nothing wrong in that play. I just want to point that out. And then she caught, and she knew that she's going to get kicked out of the league if she continues doing what she's doing. So I'm sure she knew. It wasn't just because it was Caitlin Clark. It was because she's been kicked out twice before, or kicked off teams before.
Yeah, so eyes are on her. The eyes are on her. Yeah, they're looking at her.
And Wallace came over and stepped in front of the 2 women on the team. Even I don't know if there was a third woman that came over, whatever. And she looked at him and said, "Hey, I'm not going to fight here and leave Caitlin alone." Now, she didn't push anybody, but hey, at least she walked over there and said, "Hey, I got your back, Caitlin."
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They've ever done that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what you got to do. You can't just stand there. That's your teammate. You can't just let them push you around like that. That's your key. And that's your bread and butter. I mean, if she goes, you guys are not going to make the playoffs.
So, kudos to Wallace. Nobody else did, but she was the closest, I think. She was certainly the quickest to get over there. And then when Caitlin Clark got hit in the head, but we'll get to that foul call. Caitlin Clark in the head by Angel Reese. not 1, but 3 teammates picked her up. I don't know if the 4th teammate was further away, and by that time you really can't. You don't need 4 people to pick somebody up. So whoever the 4th person, I don't know who it was. That doesn't mean they wouldn't have gone over there. But be that as may, that's enough. 3 people picking her up is enough.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I see your point. The point you're making is that compared to the other times or the other fouls during the year, at least not even one, but at least 3 of them came over, which is like, okay, now they're getting it.
Well, you know what? They're on social media, and even if they're not on social media, they hear what the press has to say. They all heard, "Where's their teammates? Where's their teammates? Where's their teammates?" Exactly. That was in the press 100 million times. Mm-hmm. And I'm not into the violent and fighters and starting things like that, because you saw what happened when Cardoza in college went over and just knocked the person to the ground. I don't want to see that. No. But you got to at least get in their face and stand up to them. And the time it happened before with Carter, I don't know, Boston's not a fighter, but she just kind of like walked over gently and picked her up. But where are the other 3 teammates? At least they could have come over and say, make sure she was okay. Right. They don't necessarily have to attack Carter and choke her like Draymond Green, but they should have gone over there. None of the 3 walked over there, and I think that's why people are calling them out.
Yeah, exactly.
They did, and they were
obvious.
Better. So
it was obvious, And see, for me, I would have. I mean, with Reese clapping on the sidelines after that happened, I would have said something to her. I mean, you don't have to instigate a fight. It's just do like they said. That's your teammate. I mean, that's you going to be hanging around with for 40 games, practice, eating, sleep, hanging out with. So I mean, they gotta have your back. You gotta let them know they have your back. And we go both ways. If Wallace got knocked on the ground, someone should help her, not just because she's Caitlin Clark. Any of your teammates, you guys stick up for her.
Right. So, and I don't know what Dana Evans was trying to prove. And that is just another example. Would she have done that, or not hook her arm, but hook her arm for like a mile and a half if it wasn't Caitlin Clark? Would she have done that? That's my question. I don't know. People say, "Oh, you guys are just picking things out." Caitlin Clark. That was a pretty long hook. And she also knew that people were watching the game and they were going to be watching for dirty play and physical play. And she did it anyways. Yeah. So that tells me that suggests to me she did it because it was Caitlin Clark. She wants to show her teammates, look, you guys did that last time. Look, I can do it too. I can be physical with her also. I think she was totally out of line, and she was dumb for her to do that because she looked like an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, she looks stupid. I'm like, what are you doing? And that's what I mean. And then, like I said, now as the coach, where are you coming up to the players like, what are you doing? That doesn't make sense. You're hurting the team. You're not playing basketball. Hurting the team. It wasn't like
Caitlin Clark was driving to the basket and she got beaten. She just hooked him just so there wouldn't be a layup. She was like, no, there was no reason for that type of defensive play. And she's a pretty good defensive player, but that's not really the issue. Right. All right, so I'll let you go first, Rob. Tell me your feeling on the foul call with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
it
just tell me your feelings about the whole thing
was
and how it was.
It was intentional, and it was the right call. They got it right. I would say they got it right. She wasn't going for the ball. She hit her in the head, and that constitutes flagrant one. And it was intended. It was.
You think it was intentional?
I don't know if it was. Well, she didn't mean. She tried for the ball. I think she missed it, and she got her in the head.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional, even though
that's what happened.
Given the history of Angel Reese and what she did at the last game, where she elbowed her to the ground, and that should have been a flagrant one. It wasn't even called a foul. At least this was called a foul, and at least it was a flagrant one. And at least they reviewed it.
Yeah,
either of the fouls last time. So I will say I don't think it was intentional. She's not a good jumper. She's a good offensive rebounder. She's not a good jumper, and they had almost no chance of blocking that shot. And she needs to be in control of herself when she's going over the top of someone like that. And she needs to realize that once she realized she didn't have a shot at the ball or wasn't getting the ball, she needs to pull back somehow.
Well, that's why she gets in foul trouble. I mean, she almost fouled out. That's why she gets in foul trouble with those kind of fouls and a lot of those silly fouls. And then she gets frustrated. Right. But that's all through her collegiate career. She's been like that, 4 or 5 fouls like that.
Right. And the game she got thrown out, the 2 technicals, that was their fifth foul. So it's not like she hasn't gotten foul trouble before.
Right.
And she got herself in foul trouble for overly, she's a good defender, but she's overly physical and she's trying to prove how tough she is. Well, she's getting fouls calls. And then when she gets in foul trouble, it hurts her team. I mean, that's why they've lost, 6 or 7 or whatever, 4 straight.
And then after the game, she has the nerve to say, well, I think some of the calls, they're calling the fouls on, she's whining about how they're not calling fouls on other people, but they're calling fouls on her. Well, maybe if you can get under control, you won't get those silly fouls like you're getting. So quit whining. She's just, like I said, she's getting better. She's playing better, but she still is not there. She's still immature.
In terms of her personality, as a separate video I want to do, Rob. So
very mature.
I'm not going to comment on that. But my feeling was flagrant one was correct. I did see a slight stare down after Caitlin Clark fell to the ground for just a brief second. Like you could almost see she enjoyed it, but I don't think it was intentional. I just think she was happy she did it because she likes the fact that she hit Caitlin Clark in the head and the face. And if she had stared her down any longer, I would have gone for a flagrant 2 in my head and thrown her out. But she didn't stare her down long enough for it to really warrant that. I don't want to go crazy with the flagrant 2 and kick her out because I don't think it was intentional. But it's got to be.
If she kept it on, that's intimidating. That's taunting. So I would have been technical.
Right, but I don't think it was long enough. But
no, it wasn't that long. But if she had kept it long, it would have been taunting, and that's a technical.
Right. So okay. So Rob is the next ref is going with flagrant 1. I agree with him. If it would have been intentional, I would have gone with a flagrant 2. If she stared her down longer, I would have gone with a flagrant 2. But at least they called a flagrant 1. And 2 games ago, or most of the season, they would have just, I didn't even see the foul.
Yeah, like I said, because it was on network TV and everybody's watching now, and like you said, social media, everything. So I think everybody was focusing on the basketball game, that's why it was such a good game. Refs were doing their job, coaches doing their job, and the players were playing hard for both teams. And that's what it's about. And that's what will attract the people. This game, like I said, I told you yesterday, this game was probably the most important game of the WNBA season to see how it played out. And it played out well. And now people are going to watch. They were instead of turning it off, going like, oh, this prison ball. Oh, what the heck? Oh, hitting the Clarks. And the coach is not letting Caitlin Clark do her thing. Oh, so now they're like, whoa, cool. They're like, coaches finally giving the keys, to quote a great person, giving the keys to the Ferrari and letting her play her game.
Right. And now they didn't play the same offense they played last time. And I'm saving that for another video.
With the more motion.
So I will talk about that, how they changed what the coach said she wanted to do, because I don't want this video to be too long because we haven't even gone over some of the stats, which I like to do a little bit. So I'm going to go over those right now. Caitlin Clark, as we said, almost had a triple-double, 7 for 11, and she was 3 for 7 for threes. And 6 for 6 at the free throw line. She even hit those 2 free throws after she got hit in the head. And she talked about that, she said it's harder to hit those when nobody's standing at the line, which is interesting. So she's also had 8 rebounds, 9 assists. So like 1 assist that obviously and 2 rebounds away from a triple double, and 2 blocks. So she's back up to an average and block a game. Not bad for someone who plays absolutely no defense. And 5 turnovers, but she had 9 assists. So that was a 1.8 ratio, which is the same she had in college, assist to turnover.
I was like, oh, look at that defense.
Yeah. So all those to say she plays no defense. She still struggles with on the ball defense, but the rest of her defense, like team defense, is good. So anyways, Mitchell did her usual thing, too much one-on-one, especially in the second quarter. She wouldn't pass to Clark. Clark didn't really get anything going again until late in the second quarter. But she did shoot well. She was 7 for 13, and she scored some timely baskets. I think she was 1 for 3 from 3. And she did have 2 assists, which was great for her, and a steal and 4 rebounds. Boston, of course, had an excellent game, 9 for 13, especially considering the women covering were 6'7".
Right.
And they know each other, obviously, because they play 14 rebounds and 4 assists, and she had 5 blocks. So kudos to Boston for another great game, 2 great games in a row. And let's see who else. Like Wallace got 0 points, but at least she stood up for Clark. She was 0 for 3. She's not starting material. As soon as Temmie comes back, she's not starting, because Temmie could play like a small forward.
Right.
They're starting 3 guards right now, but they're going to start a small forward as Temmie. Smith got 15 points, and she was 6 for 10, and she had 7 rebounds.
Smith played well. Smith played well.
Yeah, she's inconsistent, but she played well. And so Reese ended up with only playing 31 minutes because of some foul, but she was 4 for 13 rebounds, 8 offensive. And I think of those offensive rebounds, 5 offensive. I think at least 3 of those were her own shots. But she had 2 steals and a block. So.
Yeah, that's what people say about her. That's what they say about her. She's like, she throws the ball up there and gets her own rebound. That's how she passes.
I counted 3, Rob, out of 5. So let someone else may have kept closer count on that. Let me know. But I counted 3. The first one, it was right on the first play too. Cardozo, I was interested in watching her play because she'd come back from an injury and hadn't played much. I think she's going to be the better player in the long run than Cardozo. Like I said, I think she's been playing basketball not as many years as Reese or as other people her age. And so I think when she gets, more skills, she's going to be a force down below. She had 10 rebounds though, and a block, and she was 4 for 11 for 10 points. And Carter, who of course is significant because of the push, she starts out the game hotter, and then she kind of cools off in the second half. She doesn't seem to have as much energy in the second half, but she's fast, and it's a good matchup with Mitchell, by the way. 8 for 14, and she had 18 points and 4 assists. It's interesting to me that Witherspoon did not put Carter on Clark like she did last game. The only time she was covering it was like a switch, because I think she just said, all right, maybe it's best strategy-wise to put her on there, but it's not best in terms of emotion-wise, and she was wise not to put her on her. And besides Mitchell and Carter's a good matchup. They're probably the 2 fastest people in the league. So anyways, go ahead, Rob. What did you think about the Carter-Mitchell matchup?
Yeah, Carter was a good ball play. The good, nice matchup. Carter, the matching speed against speed. Yeah, they match up well against each other. That was like I said, that was entertaining to see them both go at each other. And that's what I'm saying. I really enjoyed the game as far as a basketball fan, so.
Okay. I did too. It was actually a good game. It's still kind of brutal to watch underneath with them missing so many easy shots, but that's women's basketball, even at the highest level, apparently. So we're never going to get that. But I was impressed with Clark and her composure, and she took her shots in rhythm. That's why she shot well. She didn't force it. I think they could have got her the ball a little bit more. But hey, they won. So I think that's the most important thing. It's not all about Clark. And I think the coach wised up, and I'm going to go in a different video. I'm going to tell you why I think she did that. I'm saving that for another video. And I'm going to talk about Angel Reese in a separate video too.
All right.
And also, so it was good. So it was a good win. And they're actually in 8th place right now. And I'm going to say that Rob and I both predicted they were going to make the playoffs. And my prediction is they will end up in 7th place ahead of the Dream and nobody else besides it. There's 7 teams ahead of them, but I think they're better than the Dream, and they have an easier schedule. I think they're going to end up in 7th place. 7th or 8th place or even 6th place is not going to be good because they're going to get one of the top 3 teams, and they're not anywhere near those teams right now. So, but hey, just getting a good playoff experience if it happens. That's all I have to say about that. So anything else, Rob, you want to say about the game?
No, that's, like I said, just I enjoyed it. It's a lot, and it's like I said, if they can keep this up, the WNBA will get more fans, and they will keep the fans that they drew in.
Yeah, other than those 2 plays, it wasn't prison ball too much. It was. I'm sure it was physical underneath for Boston and Cardozo and Reese, but other than that, it wasn't like super dirty underneath. So anyway, that's our take tonight. This video will be up in a couple hours, and tonight is Eastern time, 7 to 8 Mondays, but it's going to be tonight. We're going to talk about the NBA finals, which is going to be Game 5. Which is right after our show. I think it's at 8:30, in fact. And it's 3-1. So we'll talk about that. We're going to see if it's going to be a series or not. Of course, they would have to win tonight. Dallas would have to win tonight. And if so, there's a lot of pressure on Boston because it goes back to Dallas. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark, of course, and anything else you want. The Olympics are coming up. The Olympic trials for track and field is at the end of the month. So we're going to talk about those if you want. And we'll be covering those, and we'll be covering the Olympics. And we'll be covering the gymnastic trials, too, because of Simone Biles. All right, so guess what? If you haven't subscribed to, what are you waiting for?
Come on now.
Hit that button. It's free.
Come on now.
Free. And if you want to make some intelligent, non-insulting comments, please do. Let us suggestions for videos. I'm all for it. And let us know what you think. And great comments so far. I appreciate it. Only like a 1 out of 100 are like stupid comments. And so it's good. Good to hear. All right, so that's it for today.
Peace out.
Peace out, Rob. All right.